Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's properly logged.
I'll note it next to the others, sir.
Oh no.
Well, new business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
All right, man.
Often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me.
I was kind of hoping she'd be like, you didn't have anything in your schedule. It's very generous of you. No, you have a meeting with me.
You'd be a hit in Byzantium.
Did you hear that power play, Celia? They don't make them like this anymore in Halcyon. I only hope you don't judge me by my handshake. Now, what business brings you here?
Me, I'm treading my own path, going where the wind takes me.
What a charming notion. One doesn't meet many free spirits in Halcyon. Not outside Tartarus prison, anyway. Forgive me, I'd be positively enraptured. Only, I take it this means you aren't here for Saltuna.
Correct. Afraid not. If I have to eat one more weird science project passed off as food in this brat-fucked colony, I am going to starve someone. I'm with you on that one. Do it.
Yes, that's it. Channel your anger. I only wish I could do the same. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board.
Exactly are you hoping to accomplish? If you're free of the other corporations, why would you want to bring them back? Sounds like a personal problem. We've got other concerns. Yeah, if you're free.
Surviving alone isn't as easy as it looks.
You look
Thanks to the so-called
pretty
hazard clause,
well
Monarch
survived.
has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now.
So-called is right. We've got our hazards, but we're still here, damn it. The board took off without so much as a thought for the folks left behind.
And now you don't have to play by their rules. Sounds like a deal to me.
Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
You're tired of scrounging and scraping by, is that it? Sounds like you're freer than anyone else in Halcyon. Why not embrace it?
Exactly what I would have said, if I'd been paying attention.
You talk like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? It makes a rather pretty slogan. But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid, how you protect yourself from a hostile galaxy, it starts to lose its shine.
That is a good point. So what do you mean to do about it?
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
Ingenious plan? Don't get me wrong, I'm starting to admire your sand, but I bet you could overcomplicate a sisty sandwich.
What a charmingly roguish turn of phrase. Allow me to express my thanks at your confidence and assure
you
you
brought Ellie
that
around.
my plan is indeed sufficiently complicated.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
This lady knows what's going on. Enough preamble, what's the plan?
It's a two-pronged approach. The first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended.
You do seem to have a bit of a wrapped-on problem. Fine, but how do you mean to do that? How long did it take you to figure that you need to defend your city?
Not long, but the devil is always in the details. And the salient detail here is a Bolt 52 cartridge. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
Bolt 52 sounds useful. What is it?
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance.
Never realized fighting the bureaucracy could be this interesting.
It is quite the rush.
Where do I find one? Once you have the Bolt 52, what's the other part of your plan?
I'll need to gather some supplemental materials, but I mustn't get ahead of myself.
You do tend to do that.
The Bolt 52 will be in
You're
the
the one
old
asking for
arms building
advances.
southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in.
Advances in cash.
And these days, it's overrun with marauders and raptidons.
And I guess I'll go get your Bolt 52.
I've lost more than a few people to marauders and raptidons out
Yeah,
there.
I'm not no
Oh,
ordinary
while you're at
person.
it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Do I want to, or do I want to keep it for myself? Before I go, I need to ask you about
What can
something.
I do for you?
I need MSI to stop broadcasting at Jamming Devil's Peak Station. Yeah,
You think we're the problem? Have you even heard the nonsense Graham is
both are the
spewing?
problem.
It isn't easy keeping a town like Stellar Bay afloat, especially without the board's backing. We need that frequency to reach our trading partners.
Must be another way for you to do business. I'll do it, Graham. Right now I'm talking to you.
My, you know how to take control of a situation, don't you? It's warm in here. Is anyone else warm?
What he means to say is that we won't need that frequency once we're able to get MSI restored to the board.
And the first step is getting the Bolt 52.
Questions about MSI in the good old
It's
days.
good that I keep such meticulous notes.
How did MSI get kicked off the board in the first place?
I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws.
Do you mean that you initiated your own removal from the board?
Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. But back then, it was known as Terra 1.
What happened to the other corporations? Tier 1, Tier 2? I see the board put their best people on that one.
Really? I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names. After all, the whole point of terraforming was to make them Earth-like.
Here, though, the results were mixed.
That ain't fair. They didn't leave on account of the hazards. They left on account of their cowardice. The hazards just gave them a reason to put to paper.
Sharp as ever, Nyoka. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out.
Well, not MSI, right?
Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up.
Meaning you and Graham, right?
Ah, so you've heard about our prior acquaintance.
No sense being coy about it. We're partners, aren't we?
I suppose you're right. Graham's always had a way with words. Strange as it may seem, I suspect he'd have quite the corporate career if he weren't so radical. Graham seemed like a reasonable man years ago. And we both agreed that MSI's treatment of its workers was untenable. I thought reforms would be enough. I didn't realize you wanted to abolish the corporate system entirely.
Why were you so invested in reforming MSI years ago?
Reforms are humane, but they're also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other corporations pulled out, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms.
Take it your leadership didn't embrace your ideas, using the board's own tools against them, then clever. Subterrum found that loophole, didn't he?
Technically, that may be true, but he couldn't be bothered to do the necessary paperwork to exploit it, now could he? Anyway, it didn't matter at the time. MSI's then leadership insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2 along with everyone else.
Yeah, here you are. I hope you gave him the finger. I guess you missed the transport.
Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI.
Must have pissed off some real big suits to get stuck with that.
On the contrary, I wrote lots of very important reports on behalf of top MSI officials before I was able to achieve this position. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages.
That's slow even for them.
I don't think I realized how far they'd stoop. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently.
Why exactly do you want it back on the board?
Why wouldn't anyone?
Protection, etc.
They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
Yeah, that'd go a long way toward rebuilding our homes.
If you can't beat him, might as well join him and reach into their pockets.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation.
Treated you pretty roughly. Is it worth going back to that?
I'm not a man to put pride before progress. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship.
Leverage? Question mark?
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes, it'll be easier to explain once we have the Bolt 52. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations.
What's the hazard clause?
Straight bullshit is what it is. A fabrication rich folks use to preserve their investments by leaving a lot of people here to die slow.
Nyoka has the right of it. It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous. For the greater good. Allegedly.
And they've invoked it on Monarch.
Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard to run a business that way.
You're supposed to let Harem control Devil's Peak. That was the deal.
Technically, he does. What exactly are you accusing me of?
You're not uploading your end of the bargain, cross me like that, and things will get bad for you. Yeah.
Now, there's no need to use that sultry tone with me. Hiram understands the way things are. After all, he has his own contacts on the board. Until we're back on the board, I need to run those advertisements. If there's no business on Monarch, then we all starve. Hiram included. Besides, Graham's the one you should really be concerned about. His propaganda does nothing but crowd the frequency.
Want to talk about something
What can I do
else?
for you?
I don't know if there is anything else to talk about. Good, we can go.
Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries, producers and purveyors of the finest salt tuna in Halcyon. What can I do for you today?
What was that exchange about? You having money troubles?
Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. I just spent most of my paycheck on Raptidon acid.
You normally blow your money on Raptidon parts?
Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or mantis worm wings. Whatever Sebastian has in stock, really.
Why are you buying so much from Sebastian?
So I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much else. Sort of the strong, silent type.
Ugh.
Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff. And some of the neighbors are complaining about the smell.
Just ask him on a date.
I couldn't. What if he says no? Hey, maybe you could ask him for me. I mean, a no would still be bad, but it won't be quite as embarrassing if you ask.
It'd still be embarrassing.
Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes through his nose real slowly. I'd better get back to work.
Wait, I'm curious what you see in
He
Sebastian.
doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like there's stuff going on inside his head that you have no idea about. Plus, he's got great legs. It's hard to find a man who doesn't skimp on lower body exercises.
Good to have standards, I guess.
I know what I'm looking for.
Sebastian doesn't skip leg day. Good to know. When you want to be with someone you can't talk to, there are other fish in the sea.
You think that's what I'm looking for? You're funny.
There are other fish in the
Not
sea.
in Stellar Bay. Everyone else who isn't taken either smells like salt tuna or they're my boss. Besides, a man with a good smile and a proportionate upper to lower body ratio isn't something to pass up.
Alright, that's all I need to know.
Sorry, sometimes I get carried away.
Alright, okay. Alright. That's a nice weapon you got there. I guess we'll go get his Bolt 52 thingamajiggy. Why are you freaking out? Oh, I don't want to help you. It's weird they have like an actual diagram of the creature like that. The insides and all. Are we going the right way? Bolt with his name. Huh. You're fine. I don't think I can get into any of these places. They're just for show. Oh, I've been in here before. There's the key for that building. Some more of you guys hanging around out in the middle of this? Yep. Probably a terminal that I gotta delete stuff on, I imagine. View executive reviews. Continue. Sanjar has a bad habit of padding his reports with numbers and stats. Not very good with slogans, jingles. Presentations tend to be dry and lacking an emotional appeal and funny references. Sanjar also displays a noted tendency to complete work rather than delegating it. Trend up unbecoming and upper management. All in our Sanjar's work habits suggest a preoccupation with details and a startling lack of vision. We cannot recommend him for further advancement. Wow. Needs improvement in interpersonal communication, brevity, delegation, idea generation. Graham. Restricted file. Well, thank you. Graham's understanding of product messaging branding is impressive, especially for a relatively low-level editor. Has a knack for memorable slogans and taglines. However, Graham has issues with brevity and shows consistent disregard for prescribed fonts and formats. Some of his work has been flagged for subversive undertones. And then Dora. Dora shows a real knack for brief but compelling presentations, supported by catchy slogans. Delegation skills are also top-notch. She can build a lengthy meeting around any topic and emerge with plenty of work assigned. Recommend for promotion. Seems like she should be the one in charge of both of them. You scared the crap out of me just pointing that out. Automatic pistol, delete, break down, whatever. Bits. Ammo, bits. Oh, that's actually good. That's cool. I'm taking that. Okay, where's the weapon? Probably in there.
Hello? Hello? I hear boots out there. Wait, can rats wear boots?
Starting to look ripped. I think they figured that out yet. Who are you?
Oh, thank the Eternal. I'm Huxley. Hux if you're lazy. I'm stuck. My friends and I were scavenging here, and a Mana Queen showed up. Then Raptidons. It was a void-blasted mess. I ran in here and, now the door's locked. Little help?
Got locked in, how?
It's easier than it sounds, alright? Next time you get chased by Raptidons, you let me know the rationality of your decisions.
Well, I need to get in that room.
Phew. Thanks, mister. My buddy had a key, but I ain't heard him in a while. He locked me in here and took off. Probably got munched.
Yeah, he did.
So look for a dead guy, I guess. Or a rat. Maybe it's in a rat belly. Gross.
Seeing as you're trapped, you might as well answer a few things for me.
Sure. Beats not answering questions.
Who are you?
Huxley. I'm an iconoclast runner. The iconoclast runner. Fastest we've got. Ain't a Raptidon on this void-forsaken hellhole that can catch me. Phew, sorry. Put me in a tiny room like this and I'm liable to flip. Not keen on tight spaces, you know?
So, get locked in closets often? Question mark. Tell me about the iconoclast.
Oh, that'd be my people. Graham and Zora and Milton and... I really miss them. You gonna let me out of here? I want to get back to Amber Heights.
So you get locked in closets
My
often?
buddy locked me in here. I told you that. It was for my safekeeping, on account of Raptidons wanting to munch on my head. But, I mean, okay, yes, fine. I get myself into sticky situations. It's just part of the life, all right? Sometimes you gotta hide in a trash can so you don't get eaten by monsters.
Wait, really? I wasn't serious.
Oh, neither was I. Who'd hide in a trash can? Gross.
Looking for a Bolt 52. Any lying around?
Probably. I don't know. When I try to read things, my mind gets to wandering about all the things I could be doing instead.
Alright, back to the door.
Get me out of here!
I think I found it.
Oh, much obliged.
He got like dragged off there. That's what that looks like. What am I gonna do? Just gonna wait a second. Armor. 49. 49. Okay, well, maybe one of these people need it. 58. Why do you have a better helmet than I do? What is this? I'm sorry, what? There we go. What? Oh, maybe you just increase it with your level? Yeah, that's what you're doing. Okay. Yoka. 46. There, you can take that one. Now you've got better armor too, and we're good to go.
Ah, phew. Thank you so much. It was getting all stuffy in there, and I was getting a mite lightheaded, and I think maybe I was gonna die. Now I'm out here, and I'm headed back to Amber Heights.
Still landing yourself in trouble, eh, Hux?
Oh, hi, Nyoka. You mind giving me an escort back home? Oh, you're traveling with someone. Never mind.
Normally when you help someone, they give you something for their trouble. The trouble you caused me, you're dying here. Okay, well. Sure you're okay to travel?
Oh, sure, I'm a runner. I'm used to getting all dizzy, and hey, who's your identical, slightly blurry friend?
Normally when you help someone, they give you something for their trouble.
What? I ain't got nothing on me. How's about a heaping helping of appreciation and respect?
By being saved by me, you entered into an non-negotiable contract. You now owe me. Give me something or I'm stuffing you back in there. I can't buy ammo. I mean, she was in there for a while. Put in a good word for me with the class, and we'll call it even.
Can do.
Hey, there we go. Reputation increased. Good luck.
Thanks a lot, mister.
I should make it over there. Pick up Bolt 52 cartridge. Don't need the flamethrower. Don't need the vermin. Mag pick. Ammo. Bits. Mag pick. Bits.
Ah, fresh sulfur. Good to be outside.
I don't think I want to delete those things on there. Sanjar wants the data on terminals in the Arms building deleted. You found Sanjar's executive view on the Armor story. It was less than flattering. I think we don't wipe it. I think we let Sora be the person in charge. If possible.
Well, I see you've had a sobering effect on our friend Nyoka.
Sir, please stop.
Forgive me, Celia. I couldn't help myself. Anyway, what can I do for you?
Found your review on a terminal in the Arms building.
You weren't supposed to look. I asked you to delete it.
Sorry, it was already open. You could have told me what was on that terminal. Yeah, you sent me into a raptidon-infested mess to clean up after you.
I didn't mean for any harm to come to you. This has been my albatross. The great shame of my career. I give MSI everything. My work, my youth, my left kidney, and for years, I was a joke to them.
Your left kidney, question mark?
One of the executives required a
jeez.
transplant.
He's lucky they didn't want a liver or a heart.
I thought volunteering to donate might improve my prospects.
Did it?
Apparently not.
Who cares what they think? You're in charge now. That's what you get for giving up so much of yourself over to a corporation.
In charge of a scrap heap of a city. Abandoned by the board and surviving only through the hypocrisy of our trading partners.
And you made it work. That's more than anyone can say for their execs.
I hadn't thought of it that way. But perhaps there's something to that. Thank you for that. Was there something else? Oh, yes. I'm going to be up all night with this. All those blanks waiting to be filled, boxes waiting to be ticked.
Try to control yourself, sir.
Have you any idea how powerful this is? Corporations have been toppled with less.
How exactly is a data creator going to help?
What a question! Bureaucratic micromanagement is the only way anything gets done in Halcyon, and proper documentation is a key part of that. For our part, a bill of liquidation/transfer Form 52 will protect our holdings on Monarch by temporarily assigning them to a pass-through entity once we drop our bomb on the board.
So you do want to go against the board. Don't be ridiculous. Let me guess. People wait. So many details. Just tell me what comes next. But finally, the board gets their comeuppance.
Sort of. Really, we're just going to blackmail them into offering us a seat at the table.
But really, whatever gets you excited about the idea. It's definitely a firm middle finger.
I can get behind that. Reminds me that once I've helped you with this, I must have
Help
stopped
us with
progress.
this final matter, and we won't need to broadcast anymore. You have my word. I have reason to believe that one of the other corporations is operating on Monarch, illegally and in secret.
Really? Most of the time they do illegal stuff out in the open. Cheaper that way.
If we can find proof, I can use that as leverage to encourage certain powers that be to accept our Bolt 52 and reinstate us on the board.
Sanjar, you sly dog.
You really think so?
No.
Don't encourage him.
I admit I've been hatching this scheme for quite some time. I just needed someone capable to help me carry it out. If someone is operating here, then Catherine's almost certainly supplying them out of Fallbrook. Perhaps she could be convinced to tell you where they are.
Sounds like you know her well enough yourself.
That's part of the problem. She has certain ambitions for Stellar Bay, and I fear my asking her would give her the leverage she's been looking for.
Don't get yourself worked up, sir. It's perfectly natural to have a healthy fear of her.
Oh, she's not fun scary like you, just scary. But that's why you'll be equipped to handle her.
Let's go to Fallbrook and get the location of the legal corporate facility then.
Once you, subtly work out where this corporate facility might be, bring back proof of its operation. Maybe some nice letterhead. Or someone working there. That would do it.
Infiltrate a secret corporate base and kidnap the staff. Sure, easy.
A foolproof plan if I ever heard one. I'll leave the execution to you.
If you're looking for a corporate presence, I met some mercenaries affiliated with C3.
I'm sorry, who?
Corporate compliance crew.
Ah, them. They're hardly a corporation. More like a jumped-up band of thugs with certain pretensions. The evidence I'm hoping for would implicate one of the board powers. Anti-Cleo, Spacer's Choice, UDL, someone of that caliber.
Not that we don't appreciate your diligence.
Alrighty.